you have to make sure you're not using slaves to make your product. What?
Well, it's going to drive all their prices up for sure.
Welcome to the Naked Apple.
Here we are.
In all our glory, splendor, back together yet again.
In real life this time.
In person.
Person. He is no longer locked away.
I'm back, and this time it's personal. Almost. It actually almost is personal again.
It almost is personal again.
It's
almost.
Back from the Rona. I'm now, like Trump, superhuman, immune.
Ah.
I beat it before I even knew I had it.
Pretty sure I'm immune to it too, judging by the fact that I have literally hugged like 6 people that have COVID and still haven't caught it.
But did you lick them?
Almost?
Almost. They almost got it.
I mean, you know, I don't... Private things stay private. We don't... We don't talk about that on air.
All right, fine.
What happens in Salt Lake, Magna, stays in Magna.
Wow, really nailing down where we live, where we're broadcasting from, aren't you?
Whatever. I don't live in Magna.
Magna, some other state than us.
Okay, yeah, you lost it. Well, I think we should start off with the news for the week. Welcome to the Naked Apple news segment, your weekly dose of vitamin B. So first off in news today, we have a new report from CNN. Iran has developed peaceful nuclear power plants in more efficient shape of a rocket.
Oh, good. Wait.
So good to see them moving into the future.
It's more efficient.
And to be so efficient with their nuclear energy.
Oh, it's portable nuclear.
It is portable nuclear power plant designed by Iran. And it's so good. I don't know what they're running from, but that's neither here nor there.
Neither.
In political news, after Biden's nasty spill this last weekend, Kamala has come out and made a statement. She says that Biden will be kept comfortable while a discussion ensues about whether to keep him alive. So,
good.
We're looking forward to more pressing news on that. And almost last, I got 2 more here for you. 2. In U.S. news. Project Veritas is shunned by journalists for practicing journalism. Nobody saw that coming at all.
From left field.
Yeah, from out of left field. And also in more local news, a mysterious tower of missing Trump votes appears in the Utah desert. Some believe it was placed there by aliens.
That's where it came from.
So that's been your weekly news segment. Woo. Thank you for listening.
Babylon B is not the satire we need. It's the satire we deserve.
There's some good ones in here.
Solid.
Always some good ones.
Solid.
Love it.
So on to real news that you would think is Babylon B worthy, which is why they have not the B.
Even better.
You know the CARES Act, right?
Oh, yes. Of course I know the CARES Act.
CARES Act.
It's the act about caring about other people.
Yes, it's the federal government.
Yeah,
claiming
the
that it
federal
cares
government.
about you, the people.
The federal government claiming
federal
that they care about
Well, LA
us
County has
as
found
people.
a great use of the funds they received from the CARES Act.
Oh.
About $2.9 million.
Nice. They're the perfect example of a federal
They
government.
are. All of California, really.
Yeah, if you break it down, really.
They paid some PR firms to help with COVID-19 messaging.
PR firms.
Yeah.
Huh.
This is from
does,
a local Fox affiliate, Fox 11.
It's and PR stands for protecting rights, correct? That's what that they were
Yes, protecting
paying
right firms.
paying to
Public
help
relations.
pay for people's rights.
Public
okay,
relations.
good. Just making sure.
Los Angeles County has extended agreements with 2 PR firms hired to guide the county's COVID-19 messaging, and it's using federal CARES Act money to offset part of the costs of their contracts, which now total $2.9 million, according to some documents that Fox 11 has acquired. And here's a little snippet of those documents there.
If you have to pay someone $2.9 million to inform the public that you're doing a good job, I'm going to err on the side of you're not doing a good job.
Well,
And you also suck at budgeting.
they're not cheap.
That's true, I guess.
I mean, a box to live in costs about $1 million
Well,
in California.
Well, and
so
I mean, that's more along the lines of New York. LA is a little bit more reasonable. They're like $8.90. So,
anyway, so in April, the Fox affiliate here reported the existence of 2 no-bid contracts awarded to the PR firms. What's a no-bid contract?
a no-bid contract is when someone hires out for a job. And usually they put those out so that people can give them prices. And,
We need this project
we
done.
need this project, and people give them prices, and then they say, okay, you're the lowest price, so we're gonna go with you. But this is different because this is a no bid, which means that they go to someone that they like or they know, and they say, here, do this for me, and I don't care what it costs. That's what a no bid contract is.
Oh, okay. So at the time, this no-bid contract for both firms, Mercury Public Affairs and Fraser Communications, they asked them for emergency COVID-19 communications assistance. At the time, they paid both of them $200,000 each. This was in April. Despite the fact that the county has a fully staffed county communications team. So they're paying their team however many hundreds of thousands of dollars a month to do
On
so.
top of paying
On
a
top
PR
of
firm to
paying
do their job for them.
Third-party PR firms, hundreds of thousands of dollars to do the job for them in typical government fashion. A bunch of other money stuff. It's public information. It's reported. It's legal. It barred no relevance to this contract being awarded.
Barger.
No
relevance.
Barger.
Barger.
Yeah,
Barger.
there's how much money they spent.
$1.8 million.
I don't really care if it's legal or illegal.
Sounds like a Dr. Evil quote. $1.8 million.
I don't care if it's legal or illegal or whatever it is. You just should not.
No.
It's just not. Just
Definitely not.
it seems like it should cost you about $0 extra to tell the public the information that you currently have. Seems like I know I don't work in these high offices where people look like they're straight out of
Beetlejuice? Yeah. Or The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, or pick
your
she's
his scary zombie movie.
yeah, and it's this
Zombieland.
Mike said off air that she's the thrall of the Lich Queen.
She is the thrall of the Lich Queen.
LA
Have you
County
met her?
mayor. Yeah. So, there's that. Something we don't have on here.
And I love how the the little sign language guy in the back there looks like he's doing his nails because he's bored with what she's saying. What she's saying is good. Let me pick at my fingernails here.
Smile on his face.
It's kind of half demented smile though, like
kind of related to that. We don't have a thing for it, but I believe it was Gavin Newsom and various other California mayors were tweeting out promotions for Small Business Day. Go out and support your local small businesses. The same people that were telling these small businesses you can't operate for the last 8 months, and their doors are now closed permanently.
it's fun that logic is rocket science anymore.
That's generous.
I'm a generous man.
A generous man.
I'm a generous man.
So on a related Rona note, was it John Hopkins?
Yes, John Hopkins.
One of their
university.
One of their professors posted an article, a closer look at U.S. deaths due to COVID-19. They published it in the newsletter for students, and then they were, the mouse is dying on me. It's dying. It's gonna make it harder. Where's my mouse? There we go. Ha, got it. The article suddenly disappeared, and they tweeted out, the article, a closer look at U.S. deaths, blah, 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 published in the Science and Technology section on November 22nd, has been deleted. Well, why? It's a closer look. It should be something everyone wants to look at. They admit down here, though making clear the need for further research, the article was being used to support false and dangerous inaccuracies about the impact of the pandemic. We regret that this article may have contributed to the spread of misinformation about COVID-19.
Wow. And I love the fact that they have the like article in a PDF there.
Yeah. We retracted it, but here's the article.
When you click it, it's just an editor's note. They don't have the actual article.
Oh.
And you have to click another link that gives you a PDF, which is an edited version of the newsletter.
So, fortunately for us, the internet is forever. Hey! The Wayback Machine. We've used this before.
The edit to it, is they mentioned that they highlight inaccuracies, right?
Right.
They don't actually highlight any inaccuracies in it at all. Like, it is the exact same article. It just has a big letterhead right across the middle of every page that says retracted.
So it's not wrong.
So they don't actually mark anything in the entire newsletter that is inaccurate or anything like they say that they do on their Twitter right there.
Twitter. Yeah.
On their tweet. That's the word I was looking for. They don't actually highlighting the inaccuracies of the study. So, okay. And then, so I'm guessing that it's supposed to be in that editor's note that comes before the PDF, right?
Probably.
But just glancing through here, I'm not seeing any actual, here's evidence supporting the retraction of this, or this is wrong, except for this part right here. Towards the end of the newsletter, it says, the quote from the article says, all of this points to no evidence that COVID-19 created any excess deaths. Total death numbers are not above normal death numbers. This claim is incorrect and does not take into account the spike in raw death count from all causes compared to previous years. Except
it does.
It does.
Except it does. And I believe you've pointed this out before.
I have.
But there's zero increase in deaths.
Yeah.
For this year.
Yeah.
In fact, it's a little less.
Yeah.
Than last year.
If you go through the total deaths compared, and the funny thing is, you have to use the Wayback Machine to actually get proper numbers for previous years anymore, because
they changed
the most recent ones. They've changed some of them.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there's that.
you have to go here. Well, that's because things are updated. Once you're dead, you're dead. Whether it was last year or the year before.
And why are you updating last year's deaths in like August?
Same reason they
and November.
Same reason they keep changing the recorded temperatures across the world. Anyway, yeah. So this guy, he's an economics professor, I believe. So he was just looking at raw data because that's what you do in economics. All you have is numbers and data, and so you hash that out and look at trends and predict the future and learn patterns from the past. And he did that, just that. Here's all the deaths per week and causes and blah, blah, blah. He's getting it all from the CDC and from wherever else records deaths and everything like that. He's got a breakdown of it by number here. And he says, yeah, all of this points to it's not really a pandemic. And it was retracted because, you can't be having these kinds of factual-based things without really an opinion that goes against the narrative that's being pushed by everyone else. Because you got to stay home for Christmas.
Right.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to be. So one of the things that I think is actually pretty cool that he did here is he has a graph, or not a graph, like a chart in the middle of his thing, a spreadsheet in the middle of his article here.
Yes.
That is, it follows 3 weeks successively, right? And it has change in deaths over previous week. So it has the number of heart disease deaths increased or decreased from the previous week, right? And you can really see, like, right as COVID really took off in America, right, which was around the middle of April.
Yeah.
So April 11th, you have a COVID death increase of 486.
Right.
Across the board that week, across the board for heart disease, cancer, chronic respiratory, cerebrovascular disease, Alzheimer's, diabetes, flu and pneumonia, nephritis, other respiratory diseases, septicemia, and not classified deaths. So if you add all the changes in those numbers together, you have a bigger decrease across all of those deaths than you have an increase with COVID, and that tracks the next 2 weeks running. There's a bigger decrease across all of those deaths from the previous week than there is an increase of COVID deaths for that week.
So what you're saying is it's not as deadly as they say.
What I'm saying is that they're counting things that involved other types of death as strictly COVID deaths,
so what you're
which
saying
they're not.
Is COVID is not as deadly as they're saying.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Let me explain.
No, that'll take too long. Let me summarize.
Well, COVID contributed.
Well, of course they're trying to screw you.
Yeah. It's all about control.
It's all about control.
All about control.
Everything's about control anymore.
Also, something fun with the Rona. CNN, the groundbreaking news that they are, finally got their Internet Explorer page to load for everything. And
one of my favorite memes of all time is a little thing marked internet and then all the browsers.
Right.
And it says, what are we? We are browsers. What do we want? Fast internet. When do we want it? Now. And then Internet Explorer over in the corner. Browsers.
So take that, imprint that image in your mind as you read this headline from CNN. Leaked documents reveal China's mishandling of the early stages of COVID-19.
What? What?
China was lying?
Liars.
If only we could have known. If only someone would have said China isn't being honest.
If only we could have seen this coming.
Amo, you magnificent bastard, I read your book!
Huh. How much you want to bet they didn't just get these leaked documents?
What do you think? That's what they do. They can make up anything.
That's what I thought. So,
Yeah.
it reads,
Yeah.
London. A group of frontline medical workers, likely exhausted, stand huddled together on a video conference call as China's most powerful man raises his hand in greeting. It is February 10th in Beijing, and President Xi Jinping, who for weeks has been absent from public view, is addressing hospital staffs in the city of Wuhan as they battle to contain the spread of a still officially unnamed novel coronavirus. From a secure room about 1,200 kilometers, why even put that here when it's an American story, 745 miles from the epicenter, Xi expressed his condolences to those who have died in the outbreak. He urged greater public communication as around the world concerns mounted about the potential threat posed by the new disease. That same day, Chinese authorities reported 2,478 new confirmed cases, raising the total global number to more than 40,000, with fewer than 400 cases occurring outside of mainland China. Yet CNN can now reveal how official documents circulated internally show that this was only part of the picture. Dun 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 dun. They go on to say that,
Well, thank you, Dick Tracy.
yeah. How'd I do? Is that good?
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. I liked your dark and mysterious voice you got going on there.
I don't get to use it a whole lot.
They call me Spider Cop.
They got something like 117 pages that tell them that China's been lying and blah, 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 and this is a shock to them. The Chinese government rejects these accusations.
Of course they reject these accusations.
Oh, did you see that?
They also reject the accusations that they have concentration camps filled with Uyghurs over there.
Oh, yeah, we'll get into that in the next story.
Oh, that's
Kind
a
of.
thing? That's a
Kind
thing
of.
that we're talking
We'll
about?
kind of get into that in the
Oh.
next story. Did you see that China is trying to say that it's frozen food that brought the virus to them?
Oh, is it? They're trying to
packaged-
pin it on somebody else
Packaged frozen food is where this came from.
now. Let me guess. They're saying it was Mongolia.
Mongolians.
Gosh dang Mongolians.
Mongolians.
Breaking down my city wall. Sending me that coronavirus.
Oh, hey, Mongolians.
Hey, Mongolians.
So this was the real kicker for me.
Genghis Khan has got it going on.
That was a thing.
All right, I'll stop. I'm gonna let you finish.
This was my highlight from this. However, though the documents provide no evidence. Okay, hold on. However, though the documents provide no evidence of a deliberate attempt of obfuscate findings, they do reveal numerous inconsistencies in what authorities believe to be happening and what was revealed to the public. Yeah, you can just go to I don't know, the world tracker of coronavirus stuff. Anything tracking coronaviruses around the world. You'll see that China has been pretty consistent at, what is it, couple 100,000 cases and a few hundred deaths or whatever it is.
Yeah, they basically don't report anything at all.
And they've been at that number since somewhere around March, April.
If you look at the world numbers, you can come to one of two conclusions. Number one, China is full of shit. Or, number two, everyone else in the world is full of shit.
Or number three, all of the above.
Or number three, all of the above. Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very, very well.
This headline was just fascinating. Leaked documents reveal China's mishandling.
What? Color
Breaking
me
news
shock.
from CNN.
Wow.
Idiots.
Did they finally read the Blaze article from like April?
No, they couldn't have seen that. They don't follow fake news.
They don't follow fake news.
If all the other news is true and all you tell is lies, everything else is fake.
They never corrected their statement about China lying about their numbers. Well, when you're not wrong, you don't have to correct things. Just saying.
Speaking of, something else we don't have is Candace Owens.
Candace Owens.
She was fact-checked on her socials because she dared say that Joe Biden is not the president-elect.
Because he's not.
And that's because he's not. Fact-checkers flagged her thing and said this is disputed. She took him to court.
She disputed their dispute.
She disputed the dispute, and the fact-checkers...
she won.
Yeah, they backed off pretty quick when the lawyers got involved.
Yeah, this is becoming a legal issue. We can't back up anything that we say with actual evidence.
After further review, we realized the law actually says he's not. No matter how much we want him to be, he's not.
After we looked at the Constitution, we realized we don't decide who the president-elect is. It's actually determined by the electors.
The electors.
With the Electoral College, and really isn't determined until like January, so... oof.
Our bad.
Our
Sorry.
bad.
Sorry. Yeah, and it...
They might be trying to screw me. Well, of course they're trying to screw you.
This new favorite button. That one's going to wear out pretty quick.
Yeah, that one's going to wear out pretty quick. I like that one.
Going to have to shuffle it around
there's
just so your
that one and this one.
I think that's what they do. They can make up anything.
Got him!
Well, you got my headphones.
I got him!
Yeah. And the same thing was with Donald Trump last year. In fact, I don't think Hillary Clinton's officially conceded 2016, has she?
I don't think she ever did. I know she sent out somebody to give her concession speech.
Yeah,
for her.
she pulled a what's his name from the Revolution that sent out a servant to hand over his sword to Washington.
Yeah.
But yeah, she didn't concede, and you don't have to concede.
Nope.
There is nothing in the law that says the president must concede once the Electoral College has decided.
And, I mean, honestly, he shouldn't concede. Really. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter. He's going to be president until Inauguration Day anyway, so...
Yeah.
Why concede?
The whole concession speech thing is just mostly a formality of...
It's tradition.
Tradition.
Wicked tradition of our fathers.
Tradition.
Yeah, and this is the thing that really pushes my buttons, though. It's like all these people that are like, well, we didn't make this big of a stink when Hillary lost. Just concede. Just concede.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Like, okay, now hold up. Russian hackers. I believe I saw months of MSNBC melting down over the 2016 election. I'm like I'm not melting down. I'm legit like, okay, let's just wait to see what the courts do. And that's the way I was in 2016 too. In case, nobody knew because I wasn't doing this back then. But
Rick was born in 2014.
Hold on.
Literally.
He was diagnosed at...
Literally, back then, I was like, okay, if there is a problem, take it to court, present your evidence, and let's see. Because if he really did that crap, I don't want him in office.
Right.
Just like right now. Take the stuff to court, present the evidence, because if he did that crap, I don't want him in office.
Right.
And you know what's great? In 2016, Rachel Maddow, all these the MSNBC hosts and Clinton and all these other people screaming from the rooftops, Russian collusion, Russian hacking, Russia. And they presented nothing.
Nothing.
Zero evidence.
Instead, they
And
waited.
now...
Instead, they formulated a plan to impeach him.
Right.
With nothing.
And now they're presenting evidence. I was watching the Arizona hearing, and They're showing documents. They've got the manual from Dominion. They've got all this other stuff. They have a specialist from the military who specializes in information wars.
So you're saying he knows how,
and misinformation
how information
and
works.
hacking. He has a team of hackers at his disposal, and he is on the stand under oath stating that all of this crap is super insecure. Like, it is so easy.
He said
to
your
change.
Venmo account is more secure than the election.
Word for word, your Venmo account is more secure than these voting machines.
And how much do you trust your Venmo account?
I don't. Not as far as I can throw my wallet.
I don't have one. That's how much I trust it. I think my wife does.
Which
but
isn't very far because I'm not good at throwing things.
And we've run your wallet about dry.
So it just kind of
It
flaps.
just kind of flutters.
It's like throwing an unfolded paper. It is proven that I can't throw by the fact that I've hit you 3 times in the 9 months that we've been doing this.
Yeah, your record's not that grand. Yeah, my favorite is whenever you see a headline on CNN, MSNBC, these mainstream media things, it's
Quit the conspiracies.
it's Trump's legal team and their baseless claims and all this stuff. They have no evidence.
What I loved,
They have affidavits. They
Which
have
is-
sworn testimony,
evidence, which is evidence,
all of which
is
have been evidence since
Evidence?
the beginning of, I don't know, courts.
yeah, pretty much always evidence. What I love is they're changing narrative from the very beginning. So if you go back and watch their stuff, like right at election day, there is no proof of fraud. There is no fraud. Never been any fraud. No fraud. No fraud. Now it's, well, and then it went to fraud is rare, and it's not widespread. There's never any widespread fraud. We never have fraud that goes across a lot of the country. And now it's, okay, yeah, there's fraud that's widespread, and that's not unusual, but it's not enough to change the election. So you change your story 3 times
What's
and
real
expect
fun,
me
though,
to believe you.
is you watch that narrative, it changes each time a court case is won.
Right?
There's no fraud. Well, we found fraud here, fraud here, fraud here. It's not not a
there's
whole lot, but we found
little
fraud.
bit of fraud. It's
All right,
not
there's a little bit of fraud.
widespread.
It's not widespread.
Not widespread.
Well, we found this evidence of widespread stuff. We have this video of them blocking poll watchers. We have this of that.
Okay, well, it might be widespread, but there's no way it can actually affect the election.
The water pipe that burst in Georgia didn't actually burst, and they kept counting after they kicked everyone out.
You're a racist.
Pretty much. So here's that beautiful bean footage from
here we go.
2016
There we go.
of how they didn't do
excited.
what they said how they did what they said they didn't do.
First and foremost, it's finally here.
It's finally here.
A stunning election in
Going
under 2
into
minutes.
This night, where do we stand?
This is where we stood coming into the night, 268 to 204, so clearly an advantage for Secretary Clinton.
Take a look here. If Donald Trump wins tonight, no matter who they voted for, take a look at these numbers here. 21% say they'll be concerned. 37% say they'll be scared.
Yep.
This is what both candidates want. They want to be living there starting January 20th of next year. Florida has been going back and forth. Just changed again. It's only 11,000 vote lead just now. It changed.
Math on your feet, I like this.
The Empire State Building in New York City. Take a look at our running tally of the electoral vote. Anderson, this night is turning out to be a real nail-biter.
All along, the Trump campaign has been saying that Florida's a must-win for them. And I mean,
they can't win without it.
Donald Trump will carry the state of Florida.
You know, I'm guessing that the people in Brooklyn, I can see their fingers
That's
probably.
the Hillary Clinton headquarters.
Yeah, fingers probably bleeding because there's no more nail to bite.
I wouldn't call anything encouraging for Hillary Clinton at the moment, to be honest with you, my friend.
Wolf, the scene here is so different than it was a few hours ago when people were happy and relaxed.
I shouldn't laugh,
I've been looking around the room at people who are stone-faced. Some of them have been crying.
That is a picture of a child. He was tired and wanted to go home to sleep.
Uh-huh.
I felt the same way about that time that night.
Right.
White lash against a black president.
This is the people rising up saying it's time to listen to us. It's time to listen to us
Hey!
in Michigan and Wisconsin.
I know her.
Work for the people.
Hillary Clinton has called Donald Trump to concede the race.
Oh, that's not what I wanted.
Hi, I'm
But
Dr.
still.
Amy Killen. I have my own medical practice, and I've been...
Stop it. I don't care about your own medical practice and your...
That was interesting because I don't remember that being the way that night went.
No,
like at all.
Yeah, let's see if...
In fact, I specifically remember right up until about midnight that night, I thought Trump was going to lose because I was watching CNN.
Uh-huh.
And right up until, like, what was it, 12:30, they still were projecting Clinton to win. And I kept pulling my phone out and looking at other sources, going, everybody else says she's losing.
Right.
Starting at, like, what was it, like 11 o'clock that night?
Ish.
I was like, everybody else says she's losing. And then CNN held on until the bitter end. And then when they finally flipped it, the entire room just lost their minds.
That's where you get the one person in the green and black coat screaming into the high heavens.
That's the one.
That's, yeah.
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 And I think what we're seeing this year is what happened in 2016, but not as widespread or as big because they thought they had it in the bag in 2016. So they didn't have to pull all their little strings everywhere. This is the conspiracy end.
Ooh, he's going
I
up.
can't prove this.
He's going into the conspiracy.
Come back.
It's funny to me that conspiracy theory has a negative take on it.
I know, right?
Because conspiracy is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You conspire to do something. That's conspiracy. It's just gets a negative thing because the whole moon landing and JFK with the second person and whatever.
Because of the weirdo conspiracies all over the place.
The wackos, the what's his name? Alex Jones and
I love Alex Jones.
He's hilarious.
He kills me. He's so funny.
Alex Jones and what is his name? Fat Lump.
Jeffy?
No. He's athletically overweight.
He's athletically overweight.
Michael Moore,
that's the one.
Fun fact, Alex Jones was a Democrat conspiracy theorist in 2001 when he was talking about the World Trade Centers being an inside job, backed by Hillary Clinton. Anyway, Hillary Clinton was a supporter of Alex Jones at the time. Anyway, I would not be surprised at all if you go into the way back when of time and space and find that in 2016 and really every other election that the powers that be that align themselves mainly with the Democrats pull strings in all these places.
The puppet masters.
To try to make sure they get their way at different things. And Spooky,
dude.
And this year, they were caught off guard last year because Hillary had it hands down. Every poll had her winning. Every prediction had her winning.
And Trump was a joke, so they didn't need
Trump
to do
was
anything.
Just funny, and it's great that he's there to disrupt the Republican Party because he's making a joke of everyone in the Republican Party. You need to stop.
You are officially handicapped.
Because he was on with MSNBC, CNN. He was on with all those, and they had a gay old time with him.
Oh yeah.
They're like, what are your plans for this? Well, I'm going to do this. Oh, that's so great. That's so. He's not going to win. He's not gonna win.
Okay, a simple wrong would have done just fine, but
And then he started winning, and they started getting a little upset, and they never had him on their shows, and they constantly bashed him, even though they were proud of his gay agenda. They were proud of his LGBTQ whatever agenda, his black agenda.
LGBTQ 34 plus 97.
Insert alphabetical numerical symbol here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were excited for everything he had because was a Democrat until 92,000, somewhere in there. He switched parties because the Democrat Party was racist, according to his words.
Yeah, he literally switched parties because he didn't want to be in a party that had one of its leadership is a member of the KKK.
Yeah.
Literally the reason he switched parties.
Yeah, so
back
he
in
said,
the 90s.
I don't want to be aligned with...
I don't want to be aligned with racism. And so he left the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Though he still hung out in the circles of Democrat elites. Because
Which is actually, not surprisingly, but funny enough, one of the reasons why he ran for president. Because of a particular dinner that he had with Obama. where him and Obama made jabs at each other, and Obama said that Trump couldn't do nearly as good of a job as he did, and Trump said, "Hold my hat."
Yeah. Yeah.
And ran for president, and in 4 years did a better job than Obama did in 8.
Yes. In fact, undid a lot of them. Obama did.
Undid. Yes.
Yeah. So
thankfully undid.
So that's a sidetrack we went
So
on.
not looking forward to what's going to go on when some of those things come back.
Yeah. So we were at China.
We were at China.
This is from the New York Times.
China.
New York Times. New York.
And we get to go to the New York Times and talk about Nike and Coke.
Nike and Coca-Cola.
Which the New York Times is NewsGuard's go-to. That is their
NewsGuard says,
standard.
give
100
them-
out of 100. Full credibility, full transparency. You don't need to cross-check the New York Times. They tell you how it is every time, despite the number of times that they have told you how it's not.
Bolshevik. That's what I say to that. Bolshevik.
Right.
So, Nike and Coca-Cola are lobbying against a bill that's on the table right now. And that bill would make it so companies can't use forced labor.
Yes, it would ban imported goods made with forced labor.
Right.
So it wouldn't ban the companies themselves from using forced labor because they're already banned from doing that in America.
Included in this is Apple as well. Apple. So I don't know why. I don't know why they led with Nike and Coke.
Yeah, I don't know why they would lead with Nike and Coke either when Apple is on the table.
You can have all three. It's okay. Nike,
Right.
Apple, and Coca-Cola lobbying against. There's actually a lot of companies lobbying against it. I don't think the list is on here of companies.
Yeah, actually, there's quite a few of them. Let's see. It lists Adidas, Calvin Klein, Campbell's Soup, Costco, H&M, Patagonia, Tommy Hilfiger, and others.
Who's the and others? That's what I want the and others.
Well, Nike and Coke are in the and others.
Okay. So their reasoning, the company's reasoning for objecting to this is that it's going to put excess oversight, if you will, on them, because now they have to examine their supply chain more closely. So I'm sorry. You have to make sure you're not using slaves to make your product. What?
Well, it's going to drive all their prices up for sure, because, I mean, it's much more expensive to pay somebody for their labor than it is to have somebody who uses slaves do it
a
for you.
handful of Uyghur people in a concentration camp to
Consecration. All right. We need to bless all of these people. Bless them so hard.
I mean, that's basically
the Holy Spirit and all the things.
That's basically what they're trying to do, just not that way.
Take them to the baptism chamber.
Yeah. And Nike and Coke and all them, they reassure the public that we've conducted an internal investigation and we've determined that we've done no wrong.
We looked into what we did and decided we were right.
Pretty much. So I don't use Nike. I don't drink Coke. Dr. Pepper is an independent bottler.
Yes, they are.
And I don't use Apple anymore.
Don't use Apple either.
Let's see.
I'm a little bit heartbroken about the Costco thing because Costco.
Yeah, Costco was in hot water the other day because apparently they use monkeys to harvest.
See, the monkeys I don't care about.
Right. People are upset because they were selling a coconut product that the company uses monkeys to harvest the coconuts.
Mm. Yes, that's an issue.
Because it's far better to have a human climb a dangerous coconut tree
than a monkey that's designed for it. I mean, I'm sure they pay them in bananas or something.
It's just, they
give them break times to eat each other's fleas. It's fine.
Let's see, Adidas.
I don't use them either. Or
I'm
Calvin
not wearing-
Klein.
I'm
I
not
don't
wearing
really
these.
eat soup, so Campbell's not a big deal for me.
H&M.
Yeah, the only one on this list that really bothers me is Costco. That's it.
Yeah,
it's the one.
Yeah. So there's some companies that want to be able to use forced labor.
Hey, and this is apparently an old thing because it was at WAPO apparently reported Apple's lobbying previously. So the Apple also paid outside firms this year to lobby on another bill, the Uyghur Forced Labor Disclosure Act of 2020. Wow.
What?
Huh.
What is going on with Apple?
Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act. That's this current one, right?
Claiming that it disputed the claim it tried to weaken this legislation, saying it supported efforts to strengthen American regulations and believes the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act should become law.
Interesting.
All right, so why are you fighting this new one? Anyway, that's a fun one to look at. There's a lot of stuff in there.
There is a lot of stuff in there.
I don't really care anymore. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's just...
Big companies are lobbying for things that are bad.
I'm sure
that's not new.
I'm sure Kaepernick is real proud of himself for being the face of Nike.
I need to kneel because slavery was a bad thing. I'm going to do it in my Nikes and my Adidas shorts.
It's not about the flag.
There is no cognitive dissonance here.
So
none.
So now that we've got ourselves back on the rails, we're going to go back to the derail that we went to.
Oh, hey, look at this.
Yeah.
Derailed again.
In New York, there's a tight house race going on where a 28,000 vote lead was suddenly erased after a judge found about 28,000 votes. Plus
miraculously
28,000 votes plus 13.
Oh, plus 13.
So the judge miraculously found enough ballots that he felt were okay, and the incumbent now leads by 13 votes. These ballots were thrown out by the poll watchers and the ballot counting people.
I found all these ballots over here in this pile. That's our discard pile. Those are ones that don't count because I'm going to count these ballots and put them in.
They have to be with the whole stack.
These ones need to be with let's just mix that in. There, I win.
the
declare victory.
I believe it's this guy is the Republican on the left, right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's wearing blue and a red tie. I don't know.
Anyway,
Brindisi. Brindisi. Tenney.
Yeah. She trailed the Republican.
Wait.
Oh, he.
Yes.
He trailed.
Anthony Brindisi is
the Democrat.
Democrat, yes.
Yeah.
He was wearing blue. That one.
Brindisi trailed Republican challenger Claudia Tenney by about 10,000 votes on election night in New York's 22nd congressional district, but closed that gap over the next few weeks to just 100, 200 votes as mail-in ballots were counted.
I'm so glad you won, Tenney.
Despite Tenney's slim lead, Owego County State Supreme Court Justice Scott Del Conte issued an injunction to block election officials certifying the results, setting the stage for Brindisi's 13-vote lead. Sources on both Dem and GOP sides confirm that the final count submitted by all 8 counties to New York Supreme Court Justice Scott Del Conte will show Rep. Anthony Brindisi, Democrat, ahead of Claudia Tenney by either 12 or 13 votes.
Wow.
And then...
But wait. There's more.
Brindisi's premature declaration victory is further evidence that his team
he has that problem a lot.
No interest in ensuring a fair process that preserves the integrity of the election, blah, blah, blah. And then...
whiplash!
So the judge finds these votes. And then yesterday, Herkimer County Board of Elections revised its final count, netting Tenney 35 votes and putting her in the lead by 12. I see you're 13 and raise you 12.
35. Wait.
So the Republican is now just barely in the lead, and so what's funny about this is the way the judicial system works is you can't be tried twice. You can't bring the same thing to trial twice. So
double jeopardy.
They can't bring this same case to the judge to have him miraculously find more votes for them. They have to find an entirely different case to try to bring votes. And people are a little upset in New York after this happened because it's shady.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's 100%.
There was a premature victory involved, so.
Hey, we're gonna win this. Look, we won.
Look, we won.
Just barely.
Wait. No, we didn't.
And then county comes swooping into the rescue with, hold on, we recounted stuff and missed these.
Was it McMinn County?
McMinn County. McMinn to the rescue. No, McMinn was solid red.
Do you think they're going to be the first ones to declare war on Spain this time, too?
They'll probably be the first to declare war. Whether or not it's on Spain is up for debate. So with that, was it Pennsylvania a couple days ago?
Oh, lovely Pennsylvania.
The legislature was having hearings on the voting process because it's certified. It's certified.
It's certified. We're done.
All the counting is done. It's certified.
We can't do anything more this year. We will not be back in session until...
Except this goes for Georgia, too. I'm looking at you, Mr. Can't pronounce your name. The state attorney general and the secretary of state are not the ones that certify the votes. They can say the counting is done. Mm-hmm. That does not mean the votes in the state are certified. As much as Washington Post, MSNBC, CNN, all those others want to say that it's the case, probably even Fox News, that's not how it works. The votes are certified once the state legislature certifies the votes and sends electors to vote. That is when the votes from the state are certified, and then they have to be federally certified when the electors actually gather and vote. So there's a few steps still left in the process. And so in Pennsylvania, they're having hearings in front of the legislature before the legislature actually certifies the vote counts. And this was a moment that was a little jaw-dropping, eye-opening, breathtaking for some in the audience. And
take my breath away.
At the beginning of the chart where there's a circle that says on election day, what that indicates is there is a spike in loaded votes of 337,000 plus or minus of some votes that were added in there in one big batch. So that was an anomaly in the report.
Pause, darn you. So for those that are listening, it's Rudy Giuliani, and I don't know this guy's name, but he's one of the witnesses, one of the affidavit people. He's the data guy. He looks at the numbers and says, here's the data coming in, here's inconsistencies in that data that raise questions. And then Rudy Giuliani's job is to say, okay, here's what happened with this data set that's legal evidence. Here's what happened with this data set that's legal evidence. Here's what happened with this data set that's legal evidence. That's how they're proving all these potential fraud, whatever glitches in all this stuff. Is pointing out these spikes is not itself pointing out fraud. It's pointing out instances where fraud may have occurred, and it's up to the legal team to prove whether or not that was fraud.
It's my favorite way I've heard it described is actually Tim Pool says, we can hear the smoke alarm going off, and now we need to see if there's a fire.
Yes.
It's like literally people saying, there's nothing there, don't go look. It's like...
But the alarm is blaring.
Yeah. Like, seriously, it's like, there's an alarm. I'm not going to look and see if there's a fire.
So here's some behind the scenes for you for schools and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So schools, elementary, middle, high schools, whatever, they all do fire drills to practice getting students and staff out of the schools, all that stuff. Being on the custodial staff, I was one of the last ones to leave the building whenever a fire drill happened, or an actual fire, which I was part of an actual fire at one point at a school.
You were part of an actual fire?
I was.
Did you start it?
A fire occurred at the school while I was there.
We didn't start the fire.
It was always burning in a trash can.
It was a smoke bomb. My bad.
So what happens is for the fire drill end, for just the drill, the custodian and the office have to coordinate when that's going to happen, because this custodian will pull one of the fire alarms, and they pull a different one every time they do a drill to make sure the alarms in different areas
actually
are
work.
actually working.
Right.
And then before that happens, they have to communicate with the fire department that, hey, we're going to do a fire drill. So when the alarm goes off, because it automatically goes to the fire department when the alarm goes off. When the alarm goes off at this time, don't answer to it because we're doing a drill unless we call you.
So we were going to do a drill, and then mysteriously somehow an actual fire started in the chem lab.
So that's what happens behind the scenes with a drill, and then reset the alarm, blah, blah, blah. When an actual fire happens, either someone pulls the alarm or one of the smoke
sensors
detectors
goes off,
trips the alarm. Alarm goes off at an elementary school that I'm a custodian at, and I'm one of the last persons to leave. The alarm goes off. I have to run to the office and ask them if a drill is actually happening or if it's an alarm that's tripped. And they told me there's no drills planned for now. Everyone needs to be evacuating. My job is to now go to the fire panel and find out which alarm is tripped and get on the phone with the fire department to tell them which alarm, to tell them, yes, it's an actual fire. An actual fire alarm has been tripped, and this is the location of the tripped alarm. And I then have to go to my area to make sure whatever is cleared out. And if possible, check that area to see if there actually is a fire, if it can be contained, whatever. In this case, I could not because it was filled with smoke everywhere. I could not actually confirm there was a fire where the alarm was tripped because I could not breathe. That is like,
we assume from the copious amounts of smoke that there was possibly a fire in that general direction.
So what happened was the alarm that tripped was actually one for one of the air handlers outside of the building. But the actual fire originated in a classroom about 5 doors down from the access to that air handler outside. And so that's where the investigation started, because the water and all that, the fire suppression system turned on, blah, blah, blah. So I then had to go with the fire department to go and investigate, try to find the origins of the fire and unlock any doors that had to be unlocked. And we eventually found it not where the alarm was saying it is, but because of investigation, we found where the actual fire was. So now we have all these data points of random spikes happening.
Thank you, Dick Tracy.
We have all these random spikes happening in data sets, which this guy is pointing out. Those spikes may not be the actual fraud, but it gives you a place to start looking if there actually is fraud behind those data sets. It may be that the fraud happened 3 data sets down from where you think it actually happened, but it's there. So we have all these fire alarms being tripped with the data points, and they're investigating these data points. That's what's going on.
It's good to know. Yeah. I also want to point out that man's last name is funny. Dickensheets. Moving on. Stephen Dickensheets.
There's a lot of Stevens down there.
Yes, that one should change his name.
Anyway, back to it. So he's pointing out some data irregularities with the votes coming in.
Normally, you would expect to see a smooth curve going up, not any big spikes. That's kind of what Greg was talking about, the anomalies of loading and
just take off your mask. Nobody else is wearing one.
Those votes.
Right.
So that big spike that occurs there is a prime indicator of fraudulent voting.
And that's 604,000 votes in 90 minutes. Is that right?
Correct. This is 337 votes, 337,000 votes in that
period of time.
Yes.
And when you look at this entire curve with all these spikes, can you calculate how much of a vote that accounted for Biden and how much for Trump?
Close to 600,000. I think our figures are about 570 some odd thousand that all those spikes represent over time.
For Biden?
Correct.
And how much for Trump?
I think it was a little over 3,200.
And that's where the discrepancy is.
Holy cow.
That is, so when you're thinking about things logically, so when you have, statistically, when you have people voting for things, you have these votes coming in that people are counting, you don't usually see a large spike on one side and not a very large spike on the opposite when there's 2 different things that people are voting for, especially with as close of a split as we have in the American election.
Right.
I mean, you're talking out of 30 million votes, you're talking a couple of million difference between the two. So what you would generally see in one of those arches is you would see a spike for one candidate and either slightly before or slightly after that spike, a spike for the other candidate. And it doesn't happen in a giant spike for one and no spike for the other. Like ever. That never happens.
Right.
When there's a spike for one, there's always a spike for the other. But the difference will be, there's the spike here will be a little bit more for this guy, a little bit less for that guy. Spike here will be a little bit more for that guy, a little bit less for this guy. So that's how it usually pans out. You receive percentages in all the different areas. You take the most liberal area in the entire country, and you will not have that big of a percentage discrepancy.
What was it, 527,000?
Yeah, 570 something thousand, 570 something thousand,
570.
because it was almost 600,000 is what he said.
Right,
So it was like
right.
572 or 575, something like that.
That is a. This is dismal. That is a 0.5% voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So looking across the states,
You could poll Antifa
and
get
more than
a bigger
0.5.
percentage for Trump.
You could pull
than
Black
that.
Lives Matter. You could pull the Socialist Party of America
and get a
more than
bigger-
0.5%.
bigger percentage than that.
Even going across all the states, let's see, the biggest discrepancy is in Maine.
Really?
Maine District 1, 91.4% for Biden, 8.1% for Donald Trump. 16 times more.
The biggest regular discrepancy. Then that one.
Granted, that's across an entire state, but still.
Right.
That's a very liberal district.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still 8% willing to vote for Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. And so this, like, before you jump down the throat of your conservative friend that is saying, but look at this, but look at this, but look at this, you need to stop and actually think about what they're presenting to you. Because if you stop and actually think about it, it sounds weird. It looks weird. Just for a moment, think about if the shoe was on the other foot.
Uh-huh.
If your candidate was the one that was saying this, whatever, you would be pissed. You would want an investigation.
Yeah.
That's what we want. We want an investigation.
I want to
We
know.
don't want anybody to just say, nope, Trump is still the president and on we go. We want to follow the law.
Yeah.
We want an investigation, and we want a legal, lawful, and fair election.
Yep. I'm more willing to accept Biden knowing that he got there legitimately than I am.
If
Then I
the
am
inauguration
accepting-
happens and the judicial side of this has not been resolved, I will be in the Biden is not my president camp.
Yep. Until that's resolved.
Because until the judicial side of this is resolved, in my mind, he stole the election or somebody stole the election for him.
Yep. And that's most likely the case.
And that is, yeah, in my opinion, that's most likely the case because the man can't put an actual word together that makes sense. So I highly doubt that he orchestrated a theft of a campaign.
He did say,
Badacath care.
It's Badacath care.
He said that at one point. I mean, he said a lot of things, but that was one that I loved. Badacath care. Everybody deserves free Badacath care.
Free Badacath.
Free Badacath care.
Let's see. Come on. Yes.
Secondly, we're in a situation
Stop it.
where we
Stop
have
it.
put together.
Stop it. Hold on.
Secondly, we're in a situation where we have put together, and you guys did it for our the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together,
That's right.
I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
was that one of the instances of the inside voice being outside?
Yeah, that's what, when I first heard that, I was like, so he said that, crud, what was it? October or something like that. He first said that in October, and when I first heard it, I was like, wow, that's quite the gaffe. But now, that doesn't look good.
No.
It doesn't look good. But yeah. So along with this potential fraud train that we're on, there's a whistleblower.
The Washington Examiner.
Washington Examiner.
You want to know what the Washington Examiner has as a score?
What's their score?
92.5 out of 100.
So they're almost
for
there
News
with the New
Guard.
York Times.
Yeah, that's like actually the second highest score that I've seen, right next to the New York Times.
And they are knocked down because they don't disclose which, is it?
Because they don't disclose their financing or ownership.
Which
they don't have to. So
they don't have to, and also, I presume Brian York is in charge of that place, owns that place, because
think so.
There's Brian York's daily memo at the top of the page.
You would think.
I feel like he's probably important at the Washington Examiner if he's got that on there. Anyway, the Postal Service labeled Trump mail undeliverable, and 388,000 ballots backdated disappear. Whoosh. Gone. So a whistleblower said that, let's see, on Tuesday, cast new inserted blah, 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 claiming that up to 288,000 ballots disappeared, another 100,000 were improperly backdated, and mail promoting President Trump was junked while mail for Joe Biden was delivered.
What? But how did they know it was for Trump and how it was for Biden?
Well, the little things that say vote Trump, vote Biden. They're little ad mailers. That's what they're talking about. Yeah. So mail promoting President Trump was junked while mail for Joe Biden was delivered. A U.S. Postal Service contractor said his trailer full of 144,000 to 288,000 completed mail-in ballots, which he drove between New York and Pennsylvania. Timeout.
Bethpage, New York to Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
What?
Okay. First.
Why?
Why are you driving why are you driving ballots, filled out ballots from New York to Pennsylvania?
Well, Pennsylvania was low on ballots.
Okay, second, why are you driving filled out ballots in the sum of 144 to 280? And how do you not know the total number? Is from New York to Pennsylvania.
What?
Why?
It's not like it's lumber and you're short on lumber and sending excess lumber to these were absentee ballots. 144 to 288,000 at the same time on the same truck going from one location to another location.
I mean, I guess they could be like military ballots, people in military posted in New York. There you go. That's the explanation. Do they actually give an explanation on here? I don't think they do.
I don't think I saw one, no.
And then how do you lose a trailer full of ballots?
Just gone.
Okay. Now, there's question number 4. I mean, I've lost my keys. I've lost my hats. I lost a wedding ring. I've lost a video game once.
Have you lost a trailer?
I haven't. Well, I had one stolen.
So you lost a trailer?
Not really, because lost implies that I misplaced it and forgot where it was. But I had one stolen. And I later found it in Rose Park, which is where I always find things that get stolen. I'm not saying anything about it. It's just where I always find things that are getting stolen. I found a trailer there. I found my truck there. I found, all kinds of things there.
Sounds like a country song waiting to happen.
Oh, I got my dog back. I got my
car back.
Got my best friend Jack back.
The claims were unveiled by the Armistead Project of the Thomas More Society, which has mounted an independent investigation of voting and voter registry in several key battleground states. It recently made headlines by revealing that the FBI has requested the findings of its voter integrity project. Well, it's gone. FBI is not really looking into it. That's another thing. So, this is just a bunch of whatever. Previewing today's whistleblower accounts, the Armistead Project said postal subcontractor Jesse Morgan moved 144,000 on October 21st, so early, 144,000 to 288,000 completed mail-in ballots from Bethpage, New York to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where his trailer holding the ballots disappears.
And see, that's what I was meaning. Like, he doesn't say it was stolen. He says it
just gone.
Disappeared.
He dropped it off, and then it just
poof.
I left it right here.
How do you poof a semi trailer?
It's only what 18 feet of 21
and specifically
feet.
a semi trailer full of paper ballots. Like what kind of jackass stills a trailer full of ballots?
All right, guys, let's see what we got. Son of a.
Well, we better open them to make sure which candidate we just screwed.
Postal subcontractor Nathan Peace is told by two separate postal workers on two separate occasions that the USPS in Wisconsin was gathering over 100,000 ballots on the morning of November 4th to backdate the ballots so that the ballots would be counted even if they arrived after the statutory deadline. Computer expert Gregory Stentrum of Pennsylvania witnessed a vendor of Dominion machines and local election officials download and update counting machines in violation of election system protocol and the commingling of machine jump drives in violation of election protocols and rendering audits impossible without direct forensic access to the machines.
Okay. So just between the two stories we've covered, if you tally this all up with the high numbers, talking high end, just these two, just these two stories. Talking high end, 1 million votes.
Yeah.
That were either counted and shouldn't have been, or not counted and should have been.
Just the 1 million, though.
Just between these two stories.
Yeah, but that's,
and it's not quite 1 million. It would be
1 million isn't even 1% of the total votes cast.
7, 8. You'd be just shy of 900,000 actually. All said and done. Quick math.
Right, but that's not even 1% of all the votes cast, so it doesn't really make a difference.
Almost 1 million votes. How many votes did Biden have in the popular? How many votes did he win by in Pennsylvania?
About, what was it?
150?
600,000. He suddenly gained about 600,000 votes.
Right, but he only won by
100 some odd thousand. Probably not even that. Postal workers in Traverse City, Michigan, Carapolis, Pennsylvania, Erie, Pennsylvania, and Elkins Park, Pennsylvania indicate widespread malfeasance in the Postal Service, including backdating ballots, ordering that Trump mail be interdicted to be placed in the undeliverable bulk business mail bin, and emphasizing that Biden mail be delivered on
81,660.
So if
half of that is right, and it swings Trump's way, Trump wins Pennsylvania.
And seeing as how it's 99.5% for Biden, 99.44% for Biden.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that, 3,200 of them were for Trump, so you could take 3,200 of, so 600,000 votes, right? From the two added together. You can take all of Trump's out.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So minus.
And as part of that half that you're taking out. So minus 300,000. And,
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. It's I mean, very feasible. It's very feasible.
You could take all of Trump's votes out of that dump. And then as part of the half that you're taking out, and still, you could take 25% of them out. And Trump wins.
Yeah, it's more than a little ridiculous, and that's before you even get into the this isn't even like the big fraud stuff.
No, this is just
USPS and a percentage discrepancy that is obvious. You know, I mean, you go into the Dominion machines and stuff, and you're holy shit.
They've been doing this For years. Ever since Florida, they've been doing this way. They've been doing it this way since Florida, because that's when they started switching
I was going to be saying,
machines.
they've been doing it a different way for more years than that, if you listen to the story of McMinn County, Tennessee.
Yeah. No, Florida was when the country decided, hey, we need to go to electronic stuff, because all this hanging Chad stuff is confusing. It's confusing on whether or not someone punched out that thing and the Chad didn't fall all the way out. Even though that wasn't actually what they were doing in the recounting process. And little history lesson. So in Florida, they kept doing recounts in Florida, right? Kept recounting Florida. They actually were recounting 3 counties in Florida. Just 3 counties. All 3 counties Al Gore was fighting for recounts in were counties that he already won.
Right. And he refused to have them recount the entire state.
Finally gets to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court says, okay, yeah, we'll recount Florida. Al Gore says, no, just these 3 counties. So Supreme Court says, okay, then we're done. The whole state, or you're done. That is what happened. It was nothing to do with hanging Chads. Hanging Chads was probably like 5% of the issue, if that. The other 95% was recounting 3 counties that Al Gore already won in Florida. He was trying to get more votes in the 3 counties he won. And in those recounts, Bush got more votes each time. So, this one actually shouldn't count. Throw that out. What was that for? It was for Gore. This one actually shouldn't count. Throw that out. Oh, we missed this one. That's for Bush.
What has been seen cannot be unseen. Don't do an image search for hanging Chad. It's a bad idea.
What has been seen
what has been seen cannot be unseen.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
My soul hurts.
My soul hurts. So now that we're where we're at, with Joe Biden potentially being the next president of the United States, pending court cases in multiple states from Arizona to probably even Nevada, actually. Nevada.
If you get a chance to watch the Arizona hearings, they are great.
All of them.
Yeah.
Well, that last one we did was from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Michigan did theirs today, Tuesday.
Yeah, but I mean like the actual Arizona hearing where it's following the it was really interesting.
Yeah. So with Joe Biden potentially being president and being celebrated as the future president, even though he's currently not, technically, Black Lives Matter has spoken up.
Oh, yay.
They
let me guess, they're fully supporting Biden, and
they're happy
they
he's
want
there.
to fully back him, and they can't wait for him to get in and be inaugurated. And
little tiny itty bitty little bitty issue with Joe Biden, just a little bit.
It's the fact that he's white, isn't it?
It's the fact that he capitalized on their efforts to defund the police.
What?
Yeah, they're not happy that Dr. Melina Abdullah, lead organizer of BLM's Los Angeles chapter, said Biden capitalized on our efforts to defund the police and then tried to condemn the words at the same time. Who among us has said that he wants to defund the police? We did. And we pointed out that he did, and fact checkers said, no, he said he doesn't. Yeah, but he said that he did.
He said that he did.
He may have said both, but he said that he did.
Yeah.
He
may have said both, but he did say that he did.
Let's see. She made the comments on Tuesday morning while protesting outside of the residence of Democratic Mayor Eric Garcetti, who is potentially going to be on Joe Biden's cabinet of people, secretary of something, don't care, whatever. They're mad at him, at Garcetti, for taking advantage of Black Lives Matter stuff as well. And Mayor Garcetti has police posted outside of his residence because he is an elite and he deserves to have protection while the rest of the peasants don't have access to firearms or police because he's defunding the police.
Garcetti.
So he's having the police that he's defunding guard his house.
Doubling down on liberal white supremacy.
Gosh. He's the national co-chair of Mr. Biden's presidential campaign and has been rumored to be the running to oversee either the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development or the Transportation Department. He would destroy either one of those because he is the mayor of L.A., right? Something like that. Excuse me. Although many Black Lives Matter leaders publicly supported Biden's candidacy, several still consider him a flawed statesman who is unwilling to push for meaningful reforms that they say would significantly improve black people's lives. For instance, Mr. Biden has said he is totally opposed to defunding the police officers, concluding they need more assistance. After saying that, I will.
Wait, what? How does... Huh?
So, Black Lives Matter LA, newsflash, Biden and Trump are white supremacists. What? Biden's a white supremacist? Trump is not.
What?
Trump is not. We've been through that.
Trump's not. We've been through that.
With go back and listen or watch.
But I mean, I kind of see it with Biden.
Yeah. Yeah, he only, voted for...
Ooh. Can I read the next quote?
Yes.
We want to be very clear that as we happily usher out the Trump regime, we will not accept liberal white supremacy in the White House in the form of Joe Biden. It doesn't matter to me that Kamala Harris is your vice president if you're using her black woman body to usher in oppressive systems and oppressive people like Eric Garcetti. I like that the thing that she's peeved about here is that they're using Kamala's black woman body to usher in oppressive systems and not the fact that Kamala Harris was literally using her position as a person of the court and law system to keep people in prison for minor infractions like
mainly people of color,
weed, things like that, to use them as slave labor in the prison encampments. Like nothing about her history of awful political stuff, but Biden, oh man. I mean, I agree with her about Biden. He has built an entire career on lock 'em up policies, but still, like, to just gloss over Kamala and I mean, I almost feel like this comment is sexist from her because it's like the only reason they even have her there is to use her black woman body, usher in oppressive systems, oppressive people like Eric Garcetti. Wow.
Previously, Black Lives Matter has said, in short, black people won this election, Kohlers wrote in a letter on behalf of the Black Lives Matter Global Network. We want something for our vote. Little quid pro quo going on there, huh?
Sounds like it to me.
Black people can neither afford to live through the vitriol of a Trump-like presidency nor through the indifference of a Democrat-controlled government that refuses to wrestle with its most egregious and damnable shame.
Taking the father out of the black home.
No.
Wait, was that not what? Did the inside voice go on the outside again?
Oops. Oh, let's see what they have
You are
here.
officially handicapped.
Biden has spent his political career advocating a lock-them-up approach that feeds mass incarceration and over-policing. Bernie Sanders, has been willing to get to the root of the issue, providing for people's needs, reduces crime, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Bernie Sanders is a
socialist. He's a socialist. Yes, yeah. Yeah.
And,
so what they're saying is that if you just hand things out to people, then they commit less crime, which is disproven by
everything.
Literally every government handout that exists.
Right.
And because where is the majority of crime? Oh, it's in the affordable housing. Where is the it's all in those areas.
And then on top of that, the leaders and founders of Black Lives Matter, Kohlers and what's her name? They're they say that they're what's the word for it? Marxists. They're Marxists. So there's that. And then they say this about, they have this little thing from Biden, it looks like. Make me go to Twitter.
Quit the
The
twit.
president's plan doesn't include enough police officers to catch the violent thugs, not enough prosecutors to
racist.
convict them, not enough judges to sentence them, and not enough prison cells to put them away for a long time. That's why right now, 6 out of every 10 criminals who are arrested on drug charges.
Wow.
have
How
their
old is
cases
this
dropped.
video? He can actually speak numbers.
That's why we think the president should
Yeah.
triple the commitment that he's made tonight for police, prosecutors, and judges for our cities and our states.
Mr. Chairman, how do we talk about the very serious crime problem
He
in
still
America
looks crazy.
without mentioning
Is that
that we have the
94?
highest rate
Wow.
of childhood poverty in the industrialized world by far, with 22%
He hasn't
of our
aged a
children
day in
poverty
30
and
years.
5
Lost a
million
little bit of
kids
hair, but
hungry
yeah.
today. Do you think maybe that might have some relationship to crime?
Was he
How do
70
we
in this
talk
video?
about crime when this Congress is prepared this year
Prepared.
to spend 11 times more for the military than for education? When 21% of our kids drop
Because
out of
the
high
federal
school,
government shouldn't.
Grandpa, you
when
were a little bit
recent
late
study
getting to
told
the Fountain
us
of Youth.
that twice as many young workers now
The federal government
earn
shouldn't be as
poverty
involved
wages
with
as 10 years
local
ago,
education
when the
as it
gap
is with,
between the rich and
I
the
don't know,
poor
protecting
is
the
going
entire
wider,
country.
and when the rate of poverty continues to grow. Do you think maybe that might have some relationship to crime?
Huh. Yeah, so Black Lives Matter not happy with Joe Biden. Not happy with that at all.
I can see why.
Yeah. And then further news from Black Lives Matter. They're not happy, again, with their leaders who are giving you another chance to push the button.
Which button? Which one you want?
The leaders of Black Lives Matter, they admit that they are trained.
Oh, that one. Yeah. There you go.
Ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists.
Oh. Patrice and Alicia are trained Marxists. And Marxists love to just take things because they don't have a basic understanding of capitalism. So they just want to take and take and take. Local chapters of Black Lives Matter are a little upset that, they're not getting any money, really, from Black Lives Matter, who has said that they've received millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in donations, but local chapters are seeing pennies of that.
Yeah, it's because it's all going to the
And if you go back and listen to our thing, Chaz, I believe.
Chaz, I think it was one of the Chaz episodes, yeah.
Part 2, I believe.
Where we talk about
we
how
go
it
into
all gets
where the money
funneled
went
into
with
the
Black
Democratic
Lives
Party.
Matter. It goes not to Black Lives Matter. It goes to anything Democrat. Yep. That's
Vote
where
blue.
the money goes. Vote blue. It goes to that, and then it disappears. But some of their points that they're a little upset at. Patrice Cullors, as a sole board member of BLM Global Network, became executive director against the will of most chapters and without their knowledge. 2, the newly announced formation, BLM Grassroots, does not have the support of and was created without consultation with the vast majority of chapters. I feel like I'm reading Marx's work. The formation of BLM Grassroots effectively separated the majority of chapters from BLM Global Network without their consent and interrupted the active process of accountability that was being established by those chapters, Marxism. In our experience, chapter organizers have been constantly prevented from establishing financial transparency, collective decision-making, or collaboration on political analysis and vision within BLM Global Network, Marxism. For years, there has been inquiry regarding the financial operations of BLM Global Network and no acceptable process of either public or internal transparency about the unknown millions of dollars donated to Black Lives Matter Global Network which has certainly increased during this time of pandemic and rebellion. Marxism. To the best of our knowledge, most chapters have received little to no financial support from BLM-GN, Black Lives Matter Global Network, since the launch in 2013. It was only in the last few months that the selected chapters appear to have been invited to apply for a $500,000 grant created with resources generated because of the organizing labor of chapters. This is not the equity and financial accountability we deserve. Marxism. They're surprised that when they get in bed with someone who claims
to be a
and
Marxist,
admits that they are trained Marxists, that they are being shorthanded when Marxism is practiced by this person that's in charge of Marxism. Read Animal Farm. Because it's a
1984.
Or 1984. Either way, it's an easier read than reading actual Marx's work.
We feel like the Ministry of Truth is not providing us with... we must appeal to the Ministry of Plenty so that we might have the things that we need.
Right. We remain committed to collectively building an organization of BLM chapters that is democratic. That's dumb.
We have put together this entire analysis so that we can give it to the Ministry of Love for prosecution.
And functions in a way that is aligned with our ideological values. Well, it is. It's Marxist. It's perfectly aligned with your ideological values. And commitment to liberation. That's what Marxism claims to be. We will move forward with transparency and expound on our collective efforts to seek transparency and organizational unity in a fuller statement in the near future. Blah, 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 blah. Donate anyways. We encourage our supporters to donate directly to chapters who represent the front line of Black Lives Matter. And then all their different things. Nobody in mainstream or anything like that seems to be concerned that they use the same fist for Black Lives Matter in their symbol as communism, which nearly destroyed all of Asia.
They better be careful, or their leader Patrice is going to report them for a thought crime.
Right. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
Welcome to the world we live in.
Black Lives Matter now realizes that it's bad. Fools.
Yeah.
We only told you. We only told you.
We only told you. How many times did we tell them?
How
many times have we told them?
About enough.
That is really loud right in my ear. Why didn't I mute my phone?
I don't know, but now everyone knows. You have a message.
Yes, I do have a message. You have a message. That was our message messaging me. Apparently, I received an email.
Oh.
I see what you did there. All right. Well, do we have a happier note to end on, or is that it? Are we leaving everybody with the...
Hold on. I got something. I can give you something.
Here you go. Here we go.
You know what? No, I got nothing. I guess some good news is the vaccines for coronavirus are being fast-tracked to the public through the FDA, raising the question, why do we have all this red tape if we don't need it? So there's that.
Well, I found a small clip that would describe the Black Lives Matter thing we just read.
It's me. Knock, knock. So, you got...
Why is that not working?
I hear it.
Oh, yeah, I'll pay you soon. Yeah.
I know you hear it, but it didn't go through the Bluetooth like it was supposed to.
Oh, I was hearing it through your mic.
You were hearing it through my mic.
Now the blue button is on your
there.
thing.
There we go. Now it's working.
Here's a suggestion. Have the money by tomorrow and there won't be any problems. Huh? Yeah, 24 hours.
Why? What happens in 24 hours? I don't know. Not psychic, man. I'm just saying it would probably be better for everybody if you had the money tomorrow. Yeah, all right. I'll see what I can do.
And then the next day...
Fast forward.
Where's the money? Yeah, you like that? That feel good? That feel good?
I want my $2.
I want my $2. Where's my money? Does that feel good?
Does that feel good?
There we go. Happy note. Well, as always, like, subscribe, send us a comment,
share,
do those things.
Check us out on Patreon. We are very close to doing our Marxist thing.
Doing a thing on Marxism.
We're
not going to do a Marxist.
No, we're not doing a Marxist
we're not
thing.
doing a Marxist
Good
thing
heavens,
because
no.
that would be
I only got
anti-everything I believe in my life.
I only got like 4 pages into that and just knew it was demonic.
It is vomitous.
Yeah.
And torturous and, awful.
And we're doing it
for you.
For you. Well, and for us, because we're putting it on our Patreon where you got to pay for it. But we're trying to make it so it's good and easy, because reading Marx is like reading... It's worse than reading the dictionary, really.
It really is. It's
and
awful.
we read the dictionary on one of our episodes.
That was still funner than reading the Communist Manifesto.
Holy mackerel.
There's only one thing that accurately describes the Communist Manifesto, and that is this right
Mr.
here.
Matt just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah, the way I'm getting through this is I read a couple pages and then play a video game for a half hour to an hour.
And then read a couple more pages. You gotta let it marinate for a second.
Gotta let it just simmer. Oh, on a related note, so I'm finally caught up on videos, our older videos that I missed. I'm not putting them up except for one. Still got one I'm going to put up. But I'm caught up on all our YouTube videos, so you can find us on YouTube and do all that. 3 of our videos are flagged for copyright infringement because we have the Soviet national anthem. We have that. And it's just the most...
Instantly flagged.
It's just the most insanely idiotic, stupid thing that we are flagged for copyright for using the communist national anthem, a country that doesn't exist anymore, a country that didn't believe in copyright.
There's that. The irony. The irony is not lost on us.
For copyright.
Of all the things we could get flagged for.
We're not even playing the whole song and talking over the song.
That's what gets me. We're talking over the song the entire time. Like,
it's stupid. And I tried my best to like mute it in between, and it keeps flagging. It says, "Oh, why don't you try a different song?" There isn't a different song.
It is the Soviet song.
So we might have to find a different remedy for that. Find an older version of it. Something. I don't know. I don't know if it played for too long or what it was, because it didn't flag one of them that had it for a short amount of time. Whatever.
I don't know. Anyway.
Thanks for listening, watching.
All of the things.
All the things.
Thanks for the support. And as always, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
All right, we're recording. We recording?
Yes.
Recording.
Yay. Yay.
Clap sync.
Clapping, syncing, clapping and syncing. Think about it.
What are you thinking about?
This is the German Coast Guard. What are you thinking about?
Mayday, mayday, we are sinking. All right. Here we go.